07. Here's a brief summary of what Judge Kalenda had to say. While federal court decisions applying Michigan law are not binding on Michigan courts are not allowed to ignore them. Federal court decisions are at least considered persuasive to Michigan judges, and Michigan courts are supposed to follow them unless there's a good reason not to. This would apply to the recent U.S. District Court decision Tuscola versus Elmer Township. In that case, the federal judge upheld a restrictive wind ordinance based on the fact that there was no demonstrated need for wind turbines in the township. Judge Ludington stated Tuscola Wind cannot reasonably argue that the township will have inadequate access to energy absent wind turbines. The Elmer Township decision is necessarily persuasive and deserves to be followed because it tracks the language of the Michigan statute on exclusionary zoning, and obeying unambiguous statutory language is a cardinal principle of Michigan law. Number 2, Section 3207 of the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act created a 4-part test, all of which must be met before a claim of exclusionary zoning can prevail against the township. A, the zoning ordinance must totally prohibit an entire class of use within the township, not just a particular use within that class. This part of the test would only be satisfied if every wind turbine of any height, sound, setback were completely excluded, not just some of them.
Well, why don't you just give me your sheet?
Well, I will, and I want her to finish it so it's recorded. Go ahead.
According to the Open Meeting Act, this isn't acceptable to, and I allowed it last time.
Okay, so I'm gonna do it during my public comment, not hers.
It's not
Yes, it is, Phyllis.
Why would it not be?
This is her, point of order. This is her time to speak. She's gonna speak. I can say whatever I want during my,
You may.
am I acknowledged?
Say your name.
Pamela Hemmes, Montcalm Township. This is a continuation. There must be a demonstrated need for the use, but that need can be met by looking to the surrounding areas within the state of Michigan. For example, the need for a septic waste dump in a township can be met if there is adequate facility in an adjacent county. And the need for billboards in a city can be met if billboards are allowed in a neighboring municipality. Similarly, a township does not have a demonstrated need for wind turbines if there are adequate sources of electricity from areas outside the township. C, there must be a location within the township where the use can be appropriately located. D, the use must be lawful. 3, aesthetics, how they look, can provide a reasonable basis for zoning regulations. So now everyone knows that pretty much everything pro-wind attorneys have been telling townships in Montcalm County about exclusionary zoning and the impact of federal court decisions is wrong. The members of every board and planning commission in Montcalm County should pay attention to what Judge Kalenda had to say and stop claiming that we'll get sued if they adopt a protective ordinance. I'm happy to add to this that we have 2 adjacent counties that are full of wind turbines, and if they were using that electricity to provide for us, they could, but it goes to the grid, which also provides for us. So we happily don't have to worry about the lawsuits. We don't have to worry about exclusionary zoning. We can stop that subject totally. Judge Kalenda was a graduate of the University of Michigan and Harvard Law, and he served as a law clerk to the Honorable Robert B. Burns of the Michigan Court of Appeals. He is highly qualified. He came from Chicago to make this presentation, which any of you could have attended at Pine Township. So we really fall under these. We are taken care of primarily because of Gratiot and Isabella counties can supply anything we need. And we don't have a need for electricity. We have it. We have it. Every one of us has it. We're not a deprived county.
Next.
Dan Shepherd's at a place over on Winfield. I haven't attended all the meetings. It's hard for me to get up here to make them. It's even harder to take time off to make them at this hour. The meetings I have been at, it seems like I've noticed a little bit of a two ends of the room. And I'm asking that you guys remember that we are not them or they. We're individuals. Everybody here wouldn't probably be here if we didn't believe that the issue at hand is going to affect every one of us in a bad way. So when you're looking at us, don't just think that's the group. The group became a group because we wanted a voice. We're still individuals out here.
Thank you. Let me clarify that we are not discussing when. It's the planning commission where you need to be, to state what you've got, what your comments are about when. We are not at that point yet.
We're simply concerned that we get our voice out there early and often, so you guys are aware how the majority of us out here feel.
Next. Did someone else have a comment?
Winfield Township. Ultimately, if the planning commission comes up with their plan, isn't it your position to approve it or not? So the final lays right here. It doesn't lay on the planning commission. You guys decide. Am I correct?
Yes, that would be right.
Then why would you want to discredit what he said that you have?
I'm not discrediting what he's saying. I'm saying is that you need to get your comments to them first so that they know what you are thinking. Because we have the final say, but they're the ones that are making the ordinance right now.
Thank you.
Is there another comment?
Marie Kropanicki, Winfield Township. I do agree with the Zoom meetings. I did have to reschedule my schedule today, and I'm an hour away. I think that most of you on the board are under 10 minutes away. I'm talking about from here to work when I leave and coming back. All of you, unless you changed your addresses and they haven't been updated, it's my understanding that are under 10 minutes from this building. So I'm not sure why we couldn't have the meetings at night, especially when other people have offered to pick you up for Zoom meetings. The other concern I have is the PC, and I know that you talked about that, Phyllis, but why wasn't there a deadline set to receive applications? And if you did receive applications, somehow the people were in contact with you. I know some were by email. Couldn't you have responded back to the email asking for a phone number?
I am responding back to them now. I don't have to make a decision within a time limit. So, and also, my question is too, if we do a Zoom and you're at work, can you still respond?
Yes. We do Zooms all day.
And you could do a Zoom at 7 PM and Colleen could stay at home and stuff.
It doesn't have to be at 10:30.
But you can respond to that on Zoom.
Anybody
what you're
can
telling
respond
me.
that has internet
At
access.
work,
Yes,
if you're at work.
yes.
Well, that's interesting. Is there another comment?
Ryan Bensalgama, Winfield Township. I'm asking to go on the record that Winfield changed their policy to meet Michigan's Public Act 247 of 1963's posting requirements by using the daily news and the website. I'm also going on the record to request a second public hearing on the solar ordinance, since you have made changes to the solar ordinance that have not been brought before the public, and you have approved that ordinance today. And I also took time off to come to this meeting at 10:30 a.m. I live 12 minutes away. All of your addresses, the furthest one away is Colleen at 5.2 miles, 6 minutes. You know, I've got a map of every one of you where you live and how far away it is to get here. I also have photos of Phyllis and Colleen at an Apex funded presentation in Greenfield. You left there at 8:43 at night. If none of you can drive at night, that shows you can.
Somebody else was driving.
What they do, sit in the car?
They went into the meeting.
I'm willing to drive.
It was a safety and health meeting. It was interesting. It was very interesting. Apex didn't put it on.
Yes, they did.
They had their funded doctors and professionals there, so I don't believe anything that they say. And with regards to that, you know, every other township around us has meetings at 7 o'clock at night. We're the only one that has to be here at 10:30 in the morning.
We have done this for about 2-3 years now.
Well, it's ridiculous.
Any other comments?
If you commented once, can you comment again? Or is it no?
Of course not.
Linda Reynolds?
From Douglas, you had said in the past that you wouldn't recuse yourself from anything with, because your attorney advised you that you were safe to be involved yet in conversations, that kind of thing. Is this attorney one you personally hired, or is it one through the township?
It's 2 attorneys have given the same opinion.
Are they township attorneys?
Mhm.
So your attorney is actually being paid by all these, that actually pays into the state, your township taxes.
What's township business?
Correct, but
Personal leases.
yeah, it's pretty much representing you as a person with their money. Just interesting, I was wondering, thank you for answering it.
Is there any other comment?
Robin Polson, Maple Valley Township. You just stated that you have had the 10:30 meetings, as years before. How many people did you have come to those meetings? This is something that is going to affect public safety, health, and welfare of every single person in this room. And not a lot, the majority that have been here at 7 o'clock are not here at 10:30. If there's only one person that cannot drive at 7 o'clock, I think we're gonna hire an attorney and change that lady's mind.
Is there any other comment?
Jessica Quaco, Cato Township. It really is astonishing to me that you can find a ride to the Apex funded presentation. You can get a driver for that event, but to listen to the majority in your community, you can't seem to do that. It's a little confusing, doesn't really make sense at all. If there's only one person on the board that cannot drive herself here, Zoom is a great option. Or taking a ride from somebody else, not a stranger, somebody who you talk with monthly, probably more than at least a few times. Just kind of blows me away. That's it.
Any other comments?
Phyllis, I just wanna follow up on the comment that you made about interesting
You
at
already
work.
had your moment.
I'm commenting to you about interesting at work, that was
You
probably,
can talk to me afterwards, I'd be happy to talk with you.
that was inappropriate, but we do have time clocks we punch in and out on, and we also sign in and out on it, and we do our Zoom on our phones. Just to clarify.
Is there any other comments?
Carol Hackett, Douglas Township. I see Winfield as a window to this county. And what happens in one township does affect other townships, and that's kind of why I'm here. But something else was said earlier about the lawyer made the decision not to have church in this building. It's kind of strange to me that that would be made when we all just said the pledge to the flag, which is under God, indivisible. And it's that same God that said money is the root of all evil. Take money out of this apex picture. And is this how you really want your township to look? Take money out of this whole picture. And actually, I even mind the drive here to Winfield from Douglas. It's the most beautiful land in this county. And it seems like we all have the responsibility to preserve the beauty of this world. And I really hope that you can can take whatever knowledge, whatever data, whatever information we give you, but we can't give you the wisdom to make the right decision. And it's just so important that this is like the most important ordinance that we can write together. So let's really be thoughtful. Thank you.
Let me clarify, and I didn't do a very good job of it, obviously. It was the notice in the window that the attorney thought could be misconstrued. It wasn't the fact that the church could be held here, church can be held here. It was the notice in the window, because if you allow that, then somebody else will wanna come and put a notice in the window, you know, that sort of thing. That was basically what it was, and I'm sorry I didn't explain that better. Are there any other comments? No. I will close this meeting then. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.